Tariq Qazi, welcome to the Tokyo Living Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So we've got you on today to talk about your amazing Guinness Book of Records setting swim across the Tsugaru Strait. Perhaps if you can just start off by giving the listeners and viewers a bit of background about yourself, where you grew up, where you go to school, and then maybe just talk a little bit about your athletic background, a bit about your swimming, and maybe some other sports that you've played as well.
Um, Hi guys, my name is Tariq Qazi. I was born and raised here in Tokyo. I've been living here my entire life. I'm half Japanese, quarter Pakistani, and quarter Italian. The Pakistani Italian comes from my father, and my mom is fully Japanese. I've been swimming for my entire life. I've started competitively swimming when I was in elementary school, so around fourth and fifth grade.
Mhm.
But I've been swimming since I was around 2 years old at the Tokyo American Club.
Two. Wow.
Yeah. And I've been swimming at my local club sports field for around 9 years now. And
Wow.
I've been swimming there consistently almost every day.
Wow. So I guess swimming, I mean, you obviously don't remember your first swimming lesson if you were 2 years old. So it's just been something you've grown up doing, and it's just been, yeah, been something you've done
Yep.
your whole life.
Yeah.
Have you done other sports as well?
I did a little basketball when I was in elementary school, like everyone else.
Yeah.
And that was really fun, but I didn't really like moving around a lot in outside of the water.
Yeah.
Like I really hated running, and I did a little track last year, but that didn't work out so well.
Yeah, I'm not a big runner myself. I joke and say I spent my whole life learning how to fight just so I don't have to run. You could probably say the same thing about swimming. With your swimming, have you just sort of focused on specific distances throughout your competitive career? And what sort of made you get into open water swimming?
Um, when I was little, I really liked swimming longer distances since compared to other people's practices, my practices have always been focused on endurance,
Mhm.
and I really enjoyed that. So I would say as a younger swimmer, I was definitely stronger in terms of longer distances. So when I was around 9 to 10, it was 200 meters.
Mhm.
But as I grew older and got bigger, it turned to 400 meters, and now I swim the 1500 in the pool.
Yeah.
And during that time where I started focusing on longer and longer distances, I was introduced to open water through my small club sports field, where we would go out to the beach and we would swim at this small little event where we'd each swim 500 meters, which is really short distance for open water. It's like just basically one little lap.
Mhm.
You go out and then you come back, and after that we'd have barbecue. That was a really fond memory of mine. I was really happy back then.
Yeah.
And I think that basically started my open water experience where I started wanting to go out there and have more fun since compared to the pool, it was considerably less stressful. And I
Mm.
felt um like even if you went slowly, it wouldn't matter since you're just out there having fun.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. How many? I mean, when did you do your first open water swimming event? And how many have you done?
Um I started when I was around 10 or 12, and that was with the first one, which is 500 meters. And
Mhm.
since I was that young, I wasn't allowed to swim longer distances
Okay.
since it'd be too dangerous. But my first real open water experience was probably around when I was 13. And around that age, I was able to swim in Summerland, and it wasn't actually open water, which is out in the ocean. It was in a lazy river, as if they
Okay.
turned off like the flow. And basically you'd swim like 2.5 kilometers, 5 kilometers, or 10 kilometers in that pool, and you wouldn't be allowed to touch the floor. That was like the first taste of swimming really long distances without much break. And it was really fun because at the end you got to get awards. So like a
Yep.
little Baskin Robin coupon card. And I always thought that was really motivating.
Yeah.
And then once I got older into my teenage years, I was able to go out to the oceans and participate in longer events like the 5 kilometers and 10
Mm.
kilometers.
And apart from ice cream vouchers, what What is it that you really like or liked about the open water swimming environment?
Uh, I think compared to the pool, the events are a lot longer, so it gives me time to really get into the event, and it kind of gives me a moment to myself where I'm focusing on going fast, but at the same time focusing on like gives me like a time to reflect
Yeah,
in the water.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think I
yeah.
find that really interesting, and I get to like really listen, like look at my surroundings instead of just being focused on the race. And
Mm,
like I like I like how long it takes. Like I love endurance. I love just like swimming for long distances
mm.
and being tired for that long. And it's a lot more exciting than just one quick burst of energy. Like I find
Yeah,
that more interesting.
yeah, yeah. And so, when did you first get the idea of attempting the Tsugaru Strait?
Well, my mom first introduced it to me when I was around 12 years old, and I made it a goal for myself. At that time, I was a little too young, a little too inexperienced to swim that entire strait. So, my mom and I made a promise where I would swim it when I was 16 years old,
Oh, wow.
and we basically made a reservation at that time, so 4 years in advance.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Mm,
and I think that really set my eyes for open waters for the next few years.
mm,
And that's when I started what was it, extending my distances, and my practices became a lot harder,
mm.
a lot more like distance, less breaks, just consistently swim for 2 hours.
Yeah. And for those listeners who might not be aware, where exactly is the Tsugaru Strait, and how long is the distance that you have to swim?
So it started from Aomori, so in the Honshu on the Honshu Island, and it started at 4 a.m. It was really early in the morning. I woke up, actually, I'll set the background a little bit. The night before, it was thundering and raining a lot, and I was really worried that if the conditions continued, I wouldn't be able to swim, and it really put me in a lot of stress.
Mm.
And I was really worried that I wasn't able to swim, so I was a little sad, and
Yep.
I wasn't able to sleep the night before. So we're actually staying next to a shrine, and I remember I woke up around like 12 a.m. and I took a walk around the port, and then I like prayed to God. I was like, please let me be able to swim. And then the skies cleared up enough for us to go out and swim. It was still really windy and a little bit of thunder in the background, but it was good enough for me where I was able to swim. And in total, I swam 40.71 kilometers, which took around 11 hours and 20 minutes.
My goodness.
And the first 20 kilometers, the waves are really intense. And even though I was in the water, I felt a little seasick from like the huge difference in the waves. And both my sister and my mother were also getting pretty seasick. So it was really intense for the first 20 kilometers. But once I got closer to Hokkaido, it got significantly colder, but it got a lot more calm. So
Okay.
I was able to see both my sister and my mother as I was swimming, which boosted me a lot in terms of
Yeah,
motivation.
can imagine. Yeah. And was that sort of, did you have breaks in that time? What was the
Uh,
actual format? Were you able to get out of the water, or was it just continuous the whole time?
so there was a observer on board from like the Tsugaru Association where she would judge whether I was able to do it completely. And one of the rules is that you're not allowed to touch the boat, otherwise you get disqualified. So pretty much if I needed a break or a drink of water, I would have to stop, tread water, and then my mom made this like homemade little basket where she would throw it in the water. It'd be stuffed with like energy jellies, Listerine to like clear out my mouth, uh, Aquarius. Actually, not a lot of Aquarius, mostly Aquarius Sweat,
Yeah.
since for some reason, whenever I get in the water, like my taste buds change, and like the sweetness gets a lot more intense.
Oh,
And I
really
felt like Aquarius was way too sweet, and it kind of tasted really gross. But Aquarius
interesting.
Sweat was amazing. Like I loved it a lot,
Yeah.
and that really like since there were what was it? There's a current going never eat. Yeah, east. I would have to swim in kind of like a semicircle instead of
Yeah.
just straight. Because if you swim from point A to point B, it'd just be 30 kilometers.
Okay.
But if you do that, the current would just push you away, and you have to um be pulled out because it'd be too dangerous.
Mm.
So you have to go kind of like a roundabout way. So if you took your breaks for too long, like more like if you took your breaks for too long, you get swept away.
Yeah.
You have to be really quick about it. You got to be like, take your drink, take your jellies, and then just go.
What's your sort of mindset like? What's going through your mind? Obviously, you said you enjoy the open water environment because you can reflect, and I sort of I understand that, but at the same time, once you start to get towards double figures in terms of the hours that you're in the water, does your mind start playing tricks on you? Do you have sort of doubts on like whether you're going to be able to make it, or yeah, what's sort of happening in the headspace at that point?
Like I said earlier, first 20 kilometers, I felt really good. I felt strong. I was able to swim. Even though both my closest family members were kind of sick on the boat and they were kind of lying down, I couldn't see them. I felt really strong and I felt really motivated. I was like, yeah, I'm able to crush this. And I had a Garmin on, which told me like what time it was, how long it took, where I was, like how many kilometers I swam.
Mm.
That actually died halfway through, so around the 20 kilometers mark, it
Okay.
like completely died, which is really unfortunate because I thought it would last the whole way through. But
Mm.
I actually think it's a blessing in disguise since
Mm.
I was told I would only swim 30 kilometers.
Right.
And if it was still live and it showed me that I swam 30 kilometers and I was able to see the island, I'd like really um, pull down my motivation.
Mm.
So I think because it's really funny because the people on the boat kept on lying to me. They're like, "Oh, only 45 more minutes," even
Right.
though it was still 3 hours away. But I think that kept me motivated.
Yeah.
But most importantly, after like especially the second half where I was really exhausted, I was tired. My tongue was all messed up, like it was bleeding. My mom was able to was finally able to sit up, and seeing her face
Yeah.
really boosted my motivation.
Yeah.
I think because I usually breathe on the right side, so I
Yeah.
breathe over here. But there's an issue with the boat where I had to be on my left side, so I it was really awkward for me. But I kept on breathing on my left side. Every breath I took, I saw my mom and my sister, and that really motivated me. So I was just like, yeah. And especially in the last 10 kilometers, my mom pulled out the Shine On Kids flag, and it that was probably one of the biggest boosters of my motivation because it's like I can't stop right now. Like this is like there's no point in me stopping and being tired. Like
Mm.
this is for like the kids. Like well, I don't care how I feel. Like I should my feelings shouldn't matter because this is for the kids. So I should complete the race.
Yeah. I guess that's sort of a good segue. We'll get to the end of the race in a second, but Shine On Kids, obviously, kids charity organisation, fantastic organisation, and something that we support with the executive fight night as well. But what made you decide to choose that as a charity, and how did you go about combining the swim with a charity event?
Well, when I first reserved the spot when I was 12 years old, I was like strictly thinking about just swimming it, and there was actually no charity involved. But as we got closer, I started working with Shine On at school. So there's a Shine On Kids club, which actually fused together with Fight On, this different club. And I've been working with not Fight On, Shine On Kids for basically my entire life since my dad has been working with them through his company,
Yep.
and I've been working with them. Like I've been to the Monopoly event, and that was really fun. And I realized this would be a really good opportunity for me to combine to raise money for the kids while also doing my big event since others have done it before, like for the Tokyo Marathon. So I was like, oh, this is a really good chance for raising money, and I was able to do it through executive fight night. There's like a little slot on the
Yep.
paper on the pamphlet,
I saw that there.
and people were able to donate. Like, thank you guys for donating a lot of money from 360. Thank you guys. And it was like a really obvious choice. It's like, why not take this like great opportunity and it with another great opportunity. So that's
Yeah, for sure. That's fantastic. And then, so I guess, what stage did you actually see the island? When did you start to see Hokkaido? Do you know roughly like how many kilometers you're out, or how many hours or minutes you were swimming with that sort of destination in sight?
so I started seeing Hokkaido around hour six. There are a few little islands off the coast, and I was like, oh wow, this is great. I'm really close to the island. I'll be able to finish this swim. Then hour seven came around, and I saw a little shoreline of Hokkaido, and I was just like, yeah, this is it. But then the island just stopped moving. Like
Mm,
it would just stay in place until the last 30 minutes,
mm,
where it actually started like coming closer. I went closer. I was like,
mm.
it was really mentally straining seeing the island, but the island not moving at all.
I can imagine.
It's like right there, but I was like, oh, it's so close. And I guess should I talk about the ending?
Yeah, please.
Um, Towards the last, I guess, kilometer, my sister actually jumped in the water with me,
Okay.
and it was really nice. She actually went to the wrong beach. Like she went to this really weird beach where it was really inconvenient to go. It was filled with like a lot of seaweed and rock. It was really rocky. But like finally getting to solid ground, I guess the solid ground, it was it was it was a little painful at first because it was just so relaxing.
Yeah.
Like I was relaxing so much that it hurt. Like
Mm.
grabbing onto the sand, I'm just like crawling through the sand and finally just laying down. Like it felt like it was one of the best feelings I've ever experienced. I was just like, I finally did it. Like it's over. And we snapped a few photos with my Japanese, American, Pakistani, and Italian flag. Just my mother stitched it together
Yeah. Right.
along with the Shine On Kids flag,
Yeah.
and I felt really proud. I was like, oh, I was able to do this, and my family was here to support me, and I was really happy. I was really glad I was able to do it.
Oh, I bet. And then you turned around and swam back.
Yeah, so I'm back to the boat, and then
Yeah.
uh, I think the captains and the observers and my family. And one person I haven't mentioned yet is Kato-san, who was an observer from Shine On Kids,
Okay.
who actually came to help support me. And I want to say my thanks because without her, I would definitely not be able to complete the race since both my sister and my mother were out because of the seasickness.
Mm,
No one was really there to provide me with food or water. And even though she wasn't told what to do with like the container and the water, she was able to help me and we were able to get it through. So definitely, I really want to thank her because without her, I would have probably drowned.
yeah, that's great. So when you sort of reflect on this experience, when did you do it again?
So I did last summer.
When you reflect on it now, I mean, what are your? We've obviously gone through your memories of it now, but what do you feel like you really got out of it? How do you think it sort of helped you, mature or develop? And what are some of the lessons that you'll take out of this experience going forward?
Honestly, I kind of I kind of thought it would be a lot easier to swim 40 kilometers.
Really?
Oh, I um I was kind of stupid before the race because I didn't really expect things to go oh, I actually didn't I completely forgot about the fact that the whole thing could be canceled because of bad
Mm,
weather.
yeah, yeah.
And I was just like this like all this time of preparing like would just go to waste because of like a few bad days of rain.
Mm,
And I think that really taught me like how like to really think about all the things that could go wrong and how to prepare for that. And especially the fact that my dad actually got COVID right before my race,
yeah.
so he wasn't there to attend, and that kind of hurt me a little bit.
Mm,
I really wanted him there. Like
mm,
he's one of the big motivators in terms of my swimming. And I think a lesson I could learn here is like definitely to be thankful for what we have Like I'm glad I had Kato-san there, and I'm glad I had my parents there, and I'm glad I had people willing to drive the boat all the way across the strait and also support me. There was actually a support vessel in front of the boat that was navigating the way,
Okay.
and they used their speakerphone to send kind messages.
No, that's really cool.
And also, first for the first like 20 kilometers, I don't know, the first 5 kilometers and the last 10 kilometers, we're able to get reception on our phones, and we're able to do an Instagram live stream.
Mm.
And a lot of my friends, my family and friends were able to send kind messages through there. And my
Yep.
sister wrote down their messages on a whiteboard. They're like, Tariq, look.
Oh, that's
And that
awesome.
really made me happy.
So, by completing this, you're the youngest person to ever have done this. Is that correct? Or
I believe so. Yep.
yeah, and this has yeah, scored you a spot in the Guinness Book of Records.
Yep. I'm really glad we're able to do it, since most of the time you would need like a few judges there to actually be sent by Guinness. But luckily we had enough evidence for to be like, yeah, we were able to do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I was just sort of looking this up before the chat. I think there's only about, is it 59 people that have done it?
Or yeah, around 59.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Thank you.
Congratulations. It's a yeah, it's an amazing effort. What's next for you in terms of your swimming career? If I know that that swim is part of a series of swims, open water swims. Are you planning on sort of continuing this and doing some of those others? What's next?
I mean, Tsugaru is one of the hardest of the ocean seven. So there's like seven straits around the world that you can cross. And honestly, I have no plans for another strait. If there would be another strait, it'd probably be the Dover Strait,
Okay.
which would be the second hardest one. And after I complete that, I'll feel like I have done those two of the hardest ones, a great accomplishment. And then I'll probably set it aside. And then as I get older, maybe when I'm in my like 50s or 40s, I'd like continue to train and maybe finish off the rest of the straits.
Okay.
Because one of the motivating factors for me for open water swimming is that there's a lot of older people
Yeah.
that are still really strong swimmers.
Mm.
Like one of the funniest things I've learned is that every single time you go to an open water event, like judging by people's like body types or how strong they look, like it does not matter. Like there could be a young 20-year-old guy who's absolutely jacked who would lose to this like an 80-year-old old man. Like,
Mm.
and I always found that really motivating. I'm like, I want to be that 80-year-old who destroys all the young men.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's a really interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story. It's amazing, incredible accomplishment. Yeah, I get tired if I just think about driving for 40 k's. Yeah, I can't imagine actually swimming for that distance and that amount of time, and doing it all for charity. Is amazing. So
thank you
congratulations.
very much.
Anything else you wanted to say? Any sort of final words at all?
Guess I would like to say my thanks to Club 360 for allowing me to be on the pamphlet for Executive Fight Night. And actually, we got a lot of donations from there.
No, it's
And
good.
my friends and families and teachers at the American School of Japan. I was able to gain a lot of support from them. Also, the Tokyo American Club members, and especially my swim coaches who've been pushing me to swim longer distances for many, many years. And I guess I would like to, my biggest thanks would probably be the Shine On Kids organization for actually helping me go through this entire thing. They did so much. They organized a lot of pamphlets. They did a lot of the hard work, and I was able to sit here. And I'm really thankful for that. Like I think without them, we wouldn't have been able to raise that much money. And also my parents and especially my sister Nadia. I want to say thank you. You know, without you guys, I would definitely not be able to swim the whole way through. It probably like the mental strain would have probably broken me, but I'm glad you guys are there.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like an amazing team effort, and you're very, very humble athlete, but yeah, it truly is an incredible achievement. So, congratulations again. And I know you're sort of into your normal, swimming training again. So, all the best with your meets coming up. And
Thank you.
thanks again for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.